Okay, we are live.
Hey,
'Rich, we're live.
I assume so.
Yep.
Thank you.
Roxy, we're live.
Thank you.
Two more are entering the meeting now.
Are we starting off with roll calls for each department?
I assume so.
Yep, we will when the meeting starts. I've got enough for a quorum, Rich, so I'm ready when you are.
Yeah, I do too. I think we can start. Uh, so we need to call the meeting to order first, or actually establish a quorum. So why don't I start with the Board of Finance? So Rich Cilio, Board of Finance.
George Seaborn, Board of Finance.
Mike Maddow, Board of Finance.
Luke Freemuth, Board of Finance.
Adam Silverman, Board of Finance.
Don't think we have Steve yet. So let's move to Roxy, if you want to move to the Board of Ed.
Sure. Roxy Finer, Board of Ed.
Steve Carr, Board of Ed.
Matt Van Ormer, Board of Ed.
Tanya Galpin, Board of Ed.
Anthony Kepler, Board of Ed.
Beth Campbell, Board of Ed.
Francine Cost, Board of Ed.
Okay, I've got a quorum. So I will call the Board of Ed meeting to order at 6:04.
I will call the Board of Finance meeting to order at 6:04. Do we do a pledge on that? Yes, we do. There we go. All right. So if we could do the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the
The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, everybody. So if you don't mind, Roxy, I can just lead us through if you
Yep,
don't-
no, go ahead.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is to review the RFP. I think we've all been through it a few times now. So we will step over that and talk about the vendor presentations. So on Wednesday of last week, we met with both vendors, DRA and SLAM, to do a few things. The first and foremost and most important was to make sure we were aligned on the scope of what we were asking for. Because of the disparity in pricing, we wanted to make sure that both entities truly understood what we were hoping to achieve and why we approached the RFP the way we did. We talked about the general overarching strategy, what brought us to this point to draft the RFP, what the elements of the RFP, the 4 elements of the RFP were meant to achieve and accomplish. So we met with DRA first. Sorry, let me back up. In addition to that, we wanted to ensure we had a good working project plan that had at least preliminary outputs in December, with hopefully some final outputs for the bulk of what we were looking for by January, so we could start to feed those elements into our budgeting cycle. Should something come out of this that would need to be addressed through the typical budget process. That was the goal for asking them to sort of adhere to that timeline. So we wanted them to produce a better timeline. And the other piece was really the focus around talking about the census elements. So, we had talked around quite a bit about making sure we had a good census as input to all this work, and to help guide us through good decision making when we look at the results. We know there was some similar work done some years ago, and there were a lot of questions around the quality of that census work. So we asked them to produce some specific descriptions and an outline of who they would be using for the census, what would the methodologies be around that, and how would that unfold. We also talked to them about the possibility of working with the NVCOG as it relates to workshopping. I think we, in our last discussion, all agreed, at least somewhat in principle, that the work that the NVCOG team did around workshopping for the POCD was really good work. It appropriately touched a lot of key stakeholders, which are pretty much the same stakeholders that we'll be reaching out to for this process. And they all, both vendors actually agreed, no problem, just need to understand how they would fold in. So let me back up and say, as it relates to the census work, neither vendor had put that bit of work into their proposals. Fairly enough, we did not very, very distinctively and definitively call for that, which we probably should have in hindsight. Either way, they all recognize it as a key piece of information to again support key decision making throughout the process. So they both agreed to add it. For DRA, there was a price increase. The price was added in, and there was a revision sent. For SLAM, they agreed to fit it somewhere in the price of the work, and they did not change their total price. So that being said, there was, in my mind, I'll lead out the discussion with my feelings, and then pass it to the other folks that participated. I felt that DRA was much more responsive, in terms of coming to the table, asking questions. That meeting went, I think, 50 minutes or so, just over 50 minutes, with a lot of good back and forth, a lot of good questions, to make sure that there was deep understanding. When we met with SLAM, they were not very participative in the meeting. I felt like we did most of the talking, and that meeting went like 20-25 minutes. I'll tell you, I personally felt like they were completely disengaged during the discussion. They took more time responding to an email list of questions that I had sent to them. And they also took more time responding with their revisions, their proposal revisions. I'll tell you, DRA sent their revised proposal the same day, which was last Wednesday. And we didn't get SLAMs until late on Friday. So, and as soon as we asked them for it by the end of the week to ensure we had proper posting time, they asked for Monday. So it was just kind of a telling conversation for me personally. I just did not feel that. I almost got a feeling like they didn't need the work. So it was kind of strange for me. But that's my take. I'm going to pause for a minute and let anyone else who was participating in those calls last Wednesday to jump in and comment.
This is Roxy. I was on both of those phone calls, although I did lose the connection during the slam and had to leave before we ended. But I was leaning towards DRA originally from our first meeting on July 1st, and then having the meeting with them via phone. As Rich said, they definitely were receptive, responsive, and I just feel like they're the right fit for Thomaston. They seem to have a grasp of what we're looking for and want to work well with us. And that's just my take.
Yeah, Matt Venom, I only sat in on the DRA one with a few of us. And yeah, I think every question we had, they had a prepared answer for. They were ready. They seemed very engaged in any questions that we brought up. We brought up a couple questions that they didn't originally plan for us to ask, and they had a response right off the bat. So yeah, I'm definitely leaning that way.
This is Francine. I participated in both of those calls, and I agree with what Rich is saying and what Roxy Matter's saying. And I'll go even further to say that I was the one who made the reference calls, and in speaking with a colleague whose district was mentioned at the last meeting, one of the things that he did warn me about was that there would be meetings scheduled well in advance, but the information that needed to be disseminated to the public wouldn't come until the meeting was upon them. And that caused a great deal of frustration for their community, making it almost seem like they weren't trying to be transparent. And I know that's not our goal. So I would like to highlight that from my reference check as well. I lean toward DRA with a heavy angle of lean.
Anyone else? Okay, so any questions from either the Board of Ed or the Board of Finance about anything that anything related to the meetings that took place on Wednesday? Okay. So I think we would like to now move to the vendor selection process. So I can tell you where we stand right now quickly from a dollar amount. DRA came back with a revised proposal, which was shared with everyone. They changed to a firm fixed price across the board based on the conversations that we had of $97,000. And they also added a $14,000 for the demographic study, which would be completed by Cropper, if I said that correctly. So that brings us to 111,000. SLAM did not change their overall price. They sit at approximately 200,000. It is my recommendation that we go with DRA. I think just from a responsiveness and attention to detail and paying attention to us, the client, they just they were much better. And I will tell you, when we spoke at the last meeting, when they did their presentations, I was really leaning towards SLAM. But their behavior on Wednesday's meeting was completely disappointing to me and just made me felt like they're not someone we should be working with. So that's mine. I'll put that out there. I don't know if we want to discuss any further or we could move to a vote.
Rich, this is George, could you tell us what their original bid was? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
1 second, I
I
don't.
wanted to see how far they went up from their first presentation.
Thank you, George, for asking for the one thing I didn't have open.
I maybe I'm totally off base here, but I thought it was in the 20s.
Well, no, so they broke up. Let's see.
I have it if you need me to read it off, Rich.
Yeah, so it's I need to just do some math here real quick. Hang on 1 sec.
I know that during the call, they had mentioned that we'd asked them to do something additionally that they weren't planning on doing. So then they had given us a estimated cost on the spot of what they thought that would be. And they said at least that would be added onto it, but I thought it was around, I have no clue.
When
can
I
it
did,
change?
when I did my math at the meeting, the initial meeting of their presentation, Rich, and they were talking about ballparking the 14,000 for demographic, it came out to 111.
Yeah, so George, apologies, it just took me a minute to dig in there. So their original quote was 97,000. Their revised quote was 97,000, adding in 14,000 for the demographic work that we had requested, which I personally believe is a linchpin to making this, being able to make decisions about these findings.
Right.
It's also key. We need 8 years of demographics if we were to go into any type of school construction grant for renovation or rebuild.
Thank you. Any other questions or clarity I can provide?
Move the question.
Okay. So this is Rich Cilio. I would accept a motion to select DRA as the vendor for our feasibility study at a rate of not to exceed $111,000.
So moved from Seaborn.
Okay.
I'll second. Mike Maddow.
Thanks, Mike. Okay, so we need to just go around and go aye. So George, you want to start again? Aye.
Okay, aye.
Aye, Mike Maddow.
Luke Freemuth, aye. Adam Silverman, aye.
Cilio, aye. So that is so that's all in favor. That's Anyone opposed? I don't think Stephen's on the call, so all of the present Board of Finance members voted for the measure. Thank you. I'll pass it to you, Roxy.
Thank you. I would accept a motion to approve DRA as the firm to facilitate the feasibility study for Thomaston Public Schools in an amount not to exceed $111,000.
Beth
Matt,
Campbell, so moved. Sorry, Matt.
No, go for it, Beth.
Oh, so moved.
Matt Van Omer, second.
And can we do a roll call vote, please?
Matt Van Omer, aye.
Beth Campbell, aye.
Tanya Galpin, aye.
Steve Carr, aye.
Anthony Kepler, aye.
Roxy Finer, aye. I believe those are the only members of the Board of Ed who are present at this meeting, so the motion carries.
Thank you. So for the Board of Finance, we have one more bit of work. We have to decide whether to bond these dollars or take it from fund balance.
Do we have a bond issue coming up, Rich?
I believe we do. Tracy? Pretty sure Tracy's on the call.
Tracy was on the call.
Oh, sorry. There we go. We do have a bond issue coming up, but it's too late to include this on it. So it wouldn't be bonded until next year.
So we're talking about short-term borrowing?
Even for a ban, we could do a ban off cycle, but we'd have a lot of upfront costs to do that.
Then I guess I'm looking at then from our undesignated fund surplus.
Yeah, I agree.
That would be my motion.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Hold on.
Rich, I sent you the motions earlier. Do you have those?
Yes, I was just going to read that.
Oh, good. Thank you.
So I would accept a motion resolved that the Board of Finance recommends that the town of Thomaston appropriate in an amount not to exceed $111,000 from the town's undesignated fund balance for the use of a feasibility study of the facility usage and regionalization potentials to assess and provide recommendations on the educational and operational efficiency of the Thomaston Public Schools, and to authorize the first selectman to take all actions and execute all documents necessary or convenient for said purpose.
Did that motion have the consultant's name in it?
No, I did not include that. I'm sorry.
Does it need it?
I would make that motion, but to add in DRA.
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a second. All those in favor, I'll start by saying aye.
Can I just ask a quick question? Is this an item that we previously called out in items that we knew were going to come out of undesignated funds, or is this in addition to?
This is, we had a suspicion of we had no real understanding of how much it was going to be, but we had a feeling that that's where this was going to have to come from based on where we are.
All right, but not something that we'd previously considered in our list from a dollar value perspective. Okay.
No. Simply because we didn't have a dollar value, Luke. We didn't know it was a $50,000 effort or a $200,000 effort.
Okay.
Rich, may I ask a question, even though I'm not on the Board of Finance? This is Francine.
Mm-hmm.
How would we engage Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments if we were to? Would that have to be a separate meeting in the future with separate funding?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so, sorry, we have a motion and a second. Any other questions from the Board of Finance? Okay, hearing none, I would like to call a vote. So all those in favor?
Aye, George.
Aye, Adam.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Luke.
Hi, Rich. Okay, so that is the totality of the Board of Finance members present, so the motion carries. So we are, I think we are done. Okay, before we adjourn, just a quick note. I am going to the Board of Selectmen meeting right now to give them an update. So we will start the process of figuring out when this can go to town meeting. But I'll know more after I meet with them. So I think we can adjourn. So the board, as the chairman of the Board of Finance, I would accept a motion to adjourn.
So move. George.
Second. Luke.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Luke.
Aye, Adam.
Hi.
Aye, George.
I heard Mike. I think I heard Luke. Aye, and I say aye. So motion carries. Roxy, sorry.
This is Roxy. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn the Board of Education.
Beth Campbell, so moved.
Steve Carr, second.
All those in favor, Roxy, aye.
Matt, I.
Tanya, I.
Beth, I.
Steve, I.
Anthony, I.
Thank you. The meeting's adjourned at 6:26.